good morning or time appropriate greeting wherever you are. I have stuff sticking out the top of my head. Ooh, that light's very bright in the background. Let me turn that down. That's a bit nicer, a little bit more intimate. So what are we working on today? Today I am working on the Agones 0.5.0 release, which is going to be fun. I mean, it's a process. It's like anything. It takes a little bit of time. But if you're interested in open source releasing, this might actually be interesting for you. We have a process for it. So it's the 0.5.0 release. We release Agones every 6 weeks. And we have a checklist and all that stuff. So we're going to kind of go through it. Hopefully it won't slow us down a bit. There are some review processes in the middle. So we'll see if we'll get some review from some people as we go through and kind of take things from there. We will also continue on our merry way. Also check my phone. Cool. What is that? Is that too dark? No, I think that's actually a really nice. That's a really nice viewing. Okay, so what are we doing today? Cool. What was I gonna do? I was actually gonna ping. No, everything's fine. It's all good. All right. So what do we need to do? So if we have a look here, you'll see every release has a release. How very exciting. And so we did the release candidate for 0.5.0 last week. So now we're going to do the one for today as well. So that'll be fun. All right, cool. So what we're going to do, what am I doing? What is my brain up to this morning? Okay, this is all documented. So if you actually come all the way down to the bottom, actually, let me show my screen. That would be good. That's a terrible habit I have. So as I was saying, so yeah, we have all these releases. So we're going to be doing the 0.5.0, and a lot of this is tooled and provides us with some documentation as well on how we do this. So let's have a look-see. What am I doing? Okay, release process. Boom. All right. So this is all like the governance and all that kind of stuff is all kind of part of the whole project. It's the whole open source project. So you can see here it talks about our release cadence. Version releases every 6 weeks. Releases occur on a Tuesday. Today is a Tuesday here in San Francisco. We have a 5-week development cycle in which there's a release candidate, which will be released with the contents of master. For the next week, the project is in feature freeze, so only bug and documentations. Fixes during that time. Any new PRs will be tagged with merged after release. To delineate, they should be merged only after the release is complete. So actually, if we want to have a look at that too, just for interest's sake, you'll see there is a bunch of stuff in there. It's stuff that is approved, that is just waiting to be merged. But we have that merge after release because we're in feature freeze. Cool. All right. So in the RC week, the complete version release will occur, which is what's happening. Awesome. So release process. Create a release issue from the release issue template. Let's have a look at that. This is the release issue template. So usually what I do is I grab this. It has a bunch of to-dos in it. We have a checklist. So I'm going to grab this and I'm actually just going to fire up a text editor real quick. I'm going to paste that in, and usually what I do is I take that and I replace it with 0.5.0. Because that's my my easy templating. Oops, Control X. Get rid of that now. And let's create this issue. So issues, new issue, splat. We'll make that release 0.5.0, and that goes at the top. And this gives me my release issue. So we need a label. We need to call it release. And the milestone is our next release, which is 0.5.0. So let's preview that, make sure it all looks pretty good. So you can see it gives us all the things that we need to do our release. It's a fairly long list, but it's kind of the stuff that needs to happen. Some of it we automate, some of it we can't, some of it we could do a better job of automating, actually. So we'll see how that goes. Cool. All right. All right, so let's submit this issue. That all looks pretty good. I didn't miss anything from my checklist there. Create a release issue template, label issue release. Yep, I did that. And complete all the items in the release issue checklist. All right, cool. And I just got a notification on my phone. Where Where am I? What's my phone doing? Saying that, hey, the release is alive, so good for you. All right, so I got a thing on my phone saying, yep, they're just getting a notification saying that bug opened up. Cool. So kind of release. All right, so let's do the next things. All right. Boom. All right, review closed issues, have appropriate tags. Actually, that's a good point. So let's have a look at our issues. I think this should be fine. Let's see, sort. We did have, recently updated. We did have a bug that we needed to fix. That was updated. That was fixed. That doesn't, oh, interesting. That actually should be, oh, actually, you know what? I did that recently. I did a troubleshooting section in the release candidate period. So that does need that milestone. Release 0.5 RC. All right, actually milestones. Let's say issues with no milestone. That's actually better. Okay, that looks better now. Cool. That looks good. All right, so there are no issues that need to be checked for that. So sort recently update. Yeah, there we go. So this is today's release. Cool. That's the next one. All right, what I want is actually closed. Sorry, my fault. Sweet. All right, so that actually did get closed in the thing, so we got that. We updated docs during our feature freeze, so that's when that got closed. So that's pretty cool. Everything else looks like it is tagged appropriately. Awesome. All right, we can tick the first item off our list. Boom. Oh, we need to do, oh, that's the wrong one. Actually, where did our issue go? I'm doing well today. Let's go issues, release 5.0. Thank you. All right, closed issues have appropriate tags. We also need to have a look at our closed pull requests. And I think milestones, pull request, which is closed with no milestones, sort, let's just go recently updated. Troubleshooting guide. These two actually, oh, interesting. These three have been merged. Was it approved or is it merged? No, it's closed, yeah. Close pull request, merge pull request. Okay, so those milestone 0.5.0, so they need to get dropped in because they're actually part of this release. Everything else just got closed. All right, cool. That's why we have that step. Cool. All right, so now if I have a look just out of curiosity at our milestones, like we've got a whole bunch of closed stuff here. Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. All right, sweet. That we can tick those off. Closed issues and have been applied. All right, next version milestone has been created. I feel like that's true. We have a 0.6.0. I did that before. Yep, we have some things in that. Any issues in the current milestone are not closed. I already know that, so that's good. All right, so now I need to run make gen changelog. Let's actually double check one very small thing inside build make file. What is our 0.5 Agones? Okay, cool. Awesome. I want to make sure the base version in there is what it should be. Alrighty, make gen changelog. Okay. I'm gonna need to go into secret mode, unfortunately, in just a sec, because to gen the changelog, I need, that's actually not what I wanted. I want settings, I need developer settings, and I need a personal access token. So to do that, I need to go secret for a little bit. So excuse me for a moment. Actually, before I do that, let me pop this open. We'll exit this one. We'll go here. Actually, it'll be easier. And we need to be on the master branch because that's what's there. And we'll make sure we're up to date too. There we go. Current branch master is up to date. Excellent. Troubleshooting guide. The other thing I will want to do real quick as well. this is just something I end up doing, which isn't really listed, which is kind of bad, is I need to make sure that I'm set up to be pointing at the Agones images. That's interesting. Interesting. All right, so I'm actually already pointing at the Agones images. That's our where we store our images for the Docker image and stuff. So that's pointing at the right place. That's active equals true. I've got two of them. I've got a Agones mark, which is my personal development one. Cool. That's set up and good to go as well. That's the other little thing I try and do. All right, let's go secret for a little bit, and I will start this up. Whoop. Bear with me. You can look at the very cute picture of my dog. Confirm pass. All right, just making sure I confirm my password. I always regenerate this token anyway. Cool. Let's go here. Make gen changelog. Bam. Spit in my GitHub token. Bam. All right, now I can actually show you stuff again. Whoop. So that's gonna generate the changelog, which is pretty sweet. Although I just realized, hold on, bear with me one more sec. Whoop. There we go. Bear with me. There we go. Sorry, I just wanted to come off the page that had my personal access token on it. There we go. So now we're fetching events. The changelog generator is actually pretty nice. We worked on that last time. So we'll have a look at that in a second. Fetching closed issues. Just gonna clear the history so that my tag doesn't show back up accidentally. All right, cool. Warning, commit was not found in the release branch, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. I don't think that matters. Okay, cool. Let's have a look. All right, so what I also should do, we can have a look here, beautiful, is release 0.5.0. Let's just bring everything into its own branch. Cool, merge pull requests, sweet, 0.5.0, beautiful. There's the last RC, excellent. What does that look like differently? Huh, interesting, that's fine. That all looks fine. Yeah, that all looks pretty sweet. Awesome. It actually does a pretty good job. I'm pretty happy with it, and it automates everything, which is pretty sweet. All right, so back to our checklist. Gen changelog. All right. Ensure the Helm tag value is correct. Should be 0.5.0 for release. All right, let's just check those values. Agones, chart, and values. And we are 0.5.0. Beautiful. Chart.yaml 0.5.0. Sweet. We get a thumbs up. That all looks pretty good. All right. Those are correct. That is correct. Run make gen install should return back exactly the same thing, but let's just double check it. What that does is it generates the install YAML. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's exactly the same. So what that does is actually generate this install YAML here straight out of the Helm chart. So if people don't want to use Helm and they want to just use install YAML, it just uses it basically as a templating library. That's really all there is to it. There's nothing more to it than that. But we have tests in place to make sure that works, essentially. Cool, so that's just that with the changelog. What else are we working on? All right, cool, did that. All right. Ensure all the example images exist. I don't need to do that because I did that last time for the RC and I know they're all there, so I'm very confident in that. If full release, update documentation with updated example image tags. Ooh, there's a good one. Okay, so let's make sure that's right. We're gonna have to update some documentation. This is a fun question. All right, so let's do this. Simple UDP colon. No, I thought that was in our docs. Yep, there goes my dog. Star.md. Really, there's no tag? Let's have a look. All right, so let's say we're create a game server. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. I thought these had tags in them. They may not. I guess not. I guess I don't. I thought I had simple UDP. Like colon 0.1, nothing like that. Test server. Nope. 0.3, for example. There you go. Yeah. Oh, that's fine. That's just in there. That's not a big deal. That's fine. So the interesting one though, so create a, here we go. That's just coming from master. It's not the end of the world. That's probably not the best, but we can come back to that. I thought there was more. I thought there was like, I guess not. I mean, it updates that here. Meh. I think UDP server's up to 0.4 actually, but let's have a look. All right, well, let's I wonder why that showed up before, but not previously. That's probably something that can get updated. Let me actually double check that. Hold on, bear with me one sec. Whoops. Hit the wrong button. Whee! All right, cool. Let's see. Oh, lots of people come to keep me company. Thank you so much for keeping me company while I do this work. It's always nice to have people who keep you company. And it just takes a lot of steps to get all this stuff done. So I appreciate you hanging out with me. All right, so simple UDP is, what version is this? It is 0.4, right? Yeah, it is. All right, cool. So let's do this. So 0.2 or 0.1. So anywhere it says 0.3 in there, let's just replace it. Just replace all. Actually, let's open and find window. I just want to see, make sure it all looks pretty straightforward. Yeah, let's replace all. Yep, that all looks fine. Cool. I think, is there anything that actually mentions Synotic? Game server YAML, yeah, in an MD file. Nope, you're fine. Synotic colon. Nah, we're good. All right, cool. So that updates that. All right, sweet. For release, update. Okay, so this one is, this is the annoying thing that we do right now with documentation, is we put warnings in there to know what's a release candidate feature and what's not. So we have to remove those two. Yay! There's only a couple of these, so it's not too bad. It would be really nice if we could just be like push. But one problem at a time. All right, so that gets rid of those. Warning. Actually, what I can do is show me that for a sec. I want to look for that. Yeah, no, that's fine. Cool, awesome. Hopefully I didn't miss any. Done that. For release, yep, we want to get rid of all of those. Update docs with new release version. Ah, good point. G release dash. I feel like there are references to the release version. Oh my god, I keep doing that. I do. I keep trying to get rid of the window and I close the whole program because I'm stupid. I'm having a morning, clearly. All right. Why does it feel like I haven't done this? I did this 6 weeks ago. You think I'd remember exactly what it is that I need to do, but apparently no. Apparently I'm having a fun day. I wonder if we can templatize some of this stuff too, this documentation stuff. That would be, maybe there's an answer there. I don't know how other people do it other than like just copy and replace. Well, actually, let's have a look. readme.md. I feel like the thing I'm going to be looking for is if I can just find it's a release branch, basically. Yes, that's what I'm looking for. See, I knew that was a thing. Copy. There we go. Release 0.4.0 should now become release 0.5.0. Just open and find window. Yeah, I do. Let's have a look. Game server spec. Yep. Install YAML. Yep. Kubernetes apply. Release 0.4.0. Beautiful. Actually, that's exactly what we want. All right, so sweet. Replace all three of those with 0.5.0. Sweet. I knew that was a thing. The other one, I thought there is a line in here about, nope, not that one. Install, here we go. Install YAML, find the latest and zip from the releases directory. Okay, cool. I just point to the releases archive. I don't point to a particular one. Awesome. Okay. Whew, good thing that it's actually really good. I'm really glad we have this checklist. Otherwise, I would definitely forget all this stuff. Okay, full release, update docs, the new release version. All right, so now I can create a PR. All right, so this is the bit where, wow, there's a lot of stuff in there. I'm just doing a quick peek through. So there's that. That's just that kind of stuff. That's some examples. We changed some of those versions. We dropped that. That all looks fine. I don't know at what point my terminal started supporting emojis, but I'm not complaining. Examples folder 0.5.0. Yep, that all looks pretty good. Sweet. All right. Add -a, git commit. Changes for the 0.5.0 release. Boom. All right. Boom. All right. So let's push that up. Up we go. Beautiful. So let's actually go. Actually, I don't want GitHub specifically. Actually, what I want is Agones. Cool. It's going to give me a thing saying, hey, let's make a pull request. So let's do that. Labels. Where are we? Release. There's release. Beautiful. Milestone 0.5.0. Beautiful. Let's just double check, make sure everything is looking good. Cool. We got some changelog stuff. Boom, 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 boom. That's all good. And then we were looking at this just before, but I just want to give it a once over. Make sure everything looks fine. Beautiful. That looks pretty good. All right, let's create that pull request. Sweet. All right. So now, unfortunately, is kind of waiting. So the Agones bot's going to fire. I don't expect it's going to have any problems. If it does, that'll be entertaining, if nothing else. It should be fine. That's going to go, and I will also need an approval from one of my teammates. For command line mistakes, have a look at changing that thing. Yeah, my command line mistakes are okay. I don't think I've actually managed to muck anything up too much, but that is a cool tool. But thank you very much, Annonator. If I can see that right from over here, my computer screen is like way over here. Cool. All right, so that's running. What can we do that's fun in the meantime? Let's have a look. All right, so what else do we need to do here that we could probably get done while we're here? And like, oh, that's running. All right, so confirm local git remote upstream points to the right place. I can do that. Actually, that's cool. Let's get checkout master. Git remote -v. Cool. Upstream points to the right place. I can do that because that would be unfortunate. All right, I can't do that. I can't do any of the release stuff. No, I can't do any of this stuff. Okay. I need to kind of twiddle my thumbs. All right, so what do we want to do in the meantime while this is going on? because that takes about 10 minutes, and that's kind of boring. So what do we got lined up for coming up with here in Agones? So this is the stuff that we're sort of prioritizing for the next release. So when we talk about that, since we're having a release party, the stuff I'm particularly working on here is using the autoscaler with Agones. So we've got a fleet autoscaler, just a basic one that's come out with this version. So you can sort of have a simple buffer strategy pattern for your fleets, so they can grow in size, right? But you also need the cluster nodes to potentially grow and shrink and do that kind of stuff too. So for the next release, I was hoping to get in this release, but I have a really bad habit of underestimating how much work some things are. I know this is something that's been around throughout my career. So whatchamacallit? My brain just fell over. So it's going to get pushed to the next release because that's just how things roll. But the strategy is all there. There's a huge design doc on it, which I wrote to use the Kubernetes autoscaler. So the stuff I'm working on right now, so there's work in here right now for the first part, or one of the parts, which is allocation strategies. So basically, we're trying to make it so that whenever you spin up game servers, it packs it as tightly as possible inside the Kubernetes cluster so that you have a lot of empty space. So scaling down is like way easy. So I've got the allocation side of it. I'm actually working on the scheduling side of it right now. So this was a big one, but that's all approved and waiting to go as well. I'm actually waiting to see if my friend Cyril will. I think I wrote something somewhere. Where is it? I thought I wrote something in response here where I asked him to. Here we go. Hopefully this is a bit clearer in the documentation for how this works. It gets a little tricky, but we're trying to keep it simple in terms of being like, okay, if you run like a Kubernetes cluster on the cloud, this is the strategy you want, and just turn this on. And if you don't, do this, right? Like maybe you want to like distribute it, like you have a static cluster, so you want to distribute your node, distribute your workload, do it a bit more that way. Then that works too. All right. Since we are chilling and waiting for this, and I gotta kind of wait for that to finish and wait for myself to get an approval. Why don't we do something fun? So let's take a little dive into the Kubernetes scheduler, because that's the thing I've actually been looking at a lot lately. And it's actually kind of cool. So the thing we were just talking about, which is just coming up right now, which is the scheduling for how game servers get spun up. And what we want to do is we want to pack them as tightly as possible. The thing that I've been working on is basically, let's actually Mark Mandel, github.com. Let's go to my branch. I could switch, but I don't want to futz with stuff too much. Here we go, node scheduler, beautiful. So the thing that I've been working on inside here we go, is APIs. Here we go, stable v1 alpha 1 game server. Here we go, game server, beautiful. The thing that I've been working on is trying to get it so that game servers themselves will try and pack each other. And Kubernetes has what we call a scheduler, which decides where things show up inside all the nodes inside your cluster. And it's usually really good. Usually what it actually tries to do is distribute it as much as possible, which is great for most like stateless workloads or things where you want to be like very fault tolerant. But for us, for game servers, being tight is actually going to be way better, because it's going to be easier to auto scale, because you can't, for anything that's stateless, right? Like a web server, like if you kill that, that's not a big deal. But for a game server, if you have players on it, we can't kill that, right? This is a repeated theme we talk about a lot inside of Agones. And so Kubernetes itself does give you a lot of options, right? There's a scheduler, there's a bunch of different options that you can add to it. And what you also can do is provide your own scheduler as well. And there's like two very far extremes of how this works, because there's lots and lots of options that you can do with the Kubernetes scheduler, which are really ace. And then there's like the provide your own scheduler, which is just like totally everything is up to you, Like you need to manage like resources and like, can it fit on this node? Like, do you know? Maybe it can. Maybe, like, isn't everything is entirely up to you. And there is kind of a middle ground wherein you can do these things called extenders, but there's a whole that's not well documented in the slightest. But we might end up going down that path at some point too. But probably interesting anyway. So here we have this thing called pod scheduling, wherein we're saying, right, so the thing we're doing right now, so if we have we're saying that we want something to be packed. And by the way, if you don't use SourceGraph for GitHub, oh my God, you need to use this. It's the best thing ever. This is what gives me all this code here. It's so good. So if we're saying packed, what we want to do is we set up a pod affinity. This is my first stab at trying to make sure it's packed. I've done this before with pod affinity and it worked okay. I want to see if some tweaks to it make it work a little better. And this is just using the default scheduler. So what we're actually saying here is we add this pod affinity. So what we want to do is say we want to have these particular pods to exist together, and these are game server pods. So what we're saying here is when we create this pod, right? The weight is like how important this is to the scheduler. So we're going to give it 100 because we want it to be really, 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 really important. And then what we wanted to say is, okay, by topology, right, which is the host name, which is basically each individual node, right, hostname node. We can have a look at that as well. So basically what we're looking for is other pods that have this game server role as a label. Which we have specified, I think up top here somewhere. Go to definition. Here we go. Game server. Yeah, game server role. If we have that as a value, then we want to make sure that they go together. Like that's super important. I want those to be on the same host name. We talk about this. Actually gets talked about if we have a look for it here. Whoop. My dog's barking at stuff because what else would she do? Oh, really? It's not showing up here. Oh, there we go. So yeah, so standard set of labels, hostname. Oh, okay, that's fine. We don't care. We actually don't want to assign pods to labels. What we want to do is talk about pod affinity. Let me bring that up again. Oh, maybe not. Hostname, used on node. Actually, and we can see this too, actually, which will be interesting. So if I come over here and if I look at my nodes, I should have a cluster running. Let's have a look. Yep. So if we describe one of these, that'll be better. So if we have a look up here, I think it should be in the labels. Here we go. Yep. There's our host name. There's our host name here. So the interesting question, possibly, is, let's have a look. Is this going? Still going. Okay, cool. Is whether or not this will put the game server pod on a node with the most game server pods on it, or whether it'll just look for a node that has any game server pod into it. And this is an experiment that I actually will probably end up working on today. And this is a good question. Now, I'm thinking that it'll put it on the most by weight because we've made the weight so high. And the reason for that is we can actually have a look at the code for the Kubernetes scheduler itself. In fact, there we go. Yeah, we're right here. Beautiful. I was looking at it earlier. So the scheduler code is right here. You can dig through it. It's actually really cool. And the neat thing, actually, when you do look at it, is that you find out that you can pass in different configuration information to it as well. And there's some really neat stuff that can happen here. If you want to dig down this rabbit hole, which is actually really cool, I'll actually bring up a thing that I posted the other day from another, what was it? I just want to find the link. It's in my Twitter account. Here we go. Here, this is actually really neat. So this is someone showing an example of a scheduler extender, and what they've actually done, which is really cool, and I really like it. If we have a look at the YAML file, is what they're doing is they're actually running an instance of the Kubernetes scheduler inside the Kubernetes scheduler, or inside Kubernetes itself, as a custom scheduler. So what they do, here we go. This is kind of cool. So we'll ignore this bit up here. Actually, no, let's not ignore it. I'm going to ignore that bit. What they do is inside the scheduler, you can put in a policy config. This is not well documented in the slightest, but you can kind of work it out once you worked out the details. And we might actually dig into it if we have some time, which I think we will. As you can see, like, okay, so there are things called predicates and priorities. Predicates are what defines, what was I going to say? Like, if this thing can be allocated, as far as I understand it anyway. So like, right, like if the pod can fit somewhere in the ports, is there enough resources? If there's not, then like we can't schedule it. Like that's bad. And then priorities sort of says like, hey, like these are the standard priorities that are built into what's the word I'm thinking of? Built into the scheduler, right? The Kubernetes scheduler, and then we can reorder or put different weights on them, all that kind of stuff. So you can actually like choose the ones you want. Here's an extender. So there's actually like a webhook type thing that also exists. Super nice. That also lets you put in custom logic and whatnot. But what this person does, which I really like, is they have a deployment, because you can set up custom schedulers, right? And you just apply them to the pods you want, and you can just add them. That's an attribute. It's really nice. But what they do is they run this instance of Hypercube. Now, Hypercube is basically a bundle of all the binaries that Kubernetes comes with, or actually you need to run Kubernetes, which is super neat. And then what they do is they basically they're like, cool, I'm gonna run Hypercube, and I'm inside that. I'm gonna run the Cube scheduler, right? So I'm just gonna run an instance of the Cube scheduler with my custom configuration, which has their extender plus whichever predicates and priorities they have in here. I'm still not entirely sure what hard pod affinity symmetric weight means, but I'll worry about that later. And so they run that as actually, I'm not even sure what that is. Oh, I know what that is. Okay, cool. And then they run that as a pod. Here they actually run another container alongside it for running the extension, that webhook so they can all run over localhost. But this is actually really neat because it means that you're like, oh, I want to take advantage of the stuff that comes in the Kubernetes scheduler, right? I just want to be able to extend it, and I want to be able to take advantage of the stuff that the Kubernetes scheduler gives me. But hey, I don't want to rewrite all the stuff that it is, but I just want to use it in special circumstances. And so so there's a name for it. Here we go. There's my scheduler. It's all deployed, all that kind of stuff, and it exists. I forget how you specify the name of the scheduler as you specified it. But this is super cool. And so you can actually see when they do, there's a test pod in here somewhere. Where are we? Test pod. Here we go. Beautiful. You can specify the scheduler name, and they specialize in my scheduler, which is, I actually think this is really clever. So if we decide once we go down the scheduler path of what we're doing, then we could create our own scheduler based on the default scheduler that comes with Kubernetes, which is I think that's really dope. Awesome. All right. So lovely. Let's get that. Okay, so that's working. I might bug a buddy of mine. Awesome. So what I'm actually doing is bugging some friends to say, hey, actually, you know what? I wonder if my buddy Cyril's around. I'm just going to bug some friends directly. Bugging you directly. Can you approve the 0.5.0 PR, please? Smiley face. Bam. Sweet. So hopefully that'll get through. shortly, which would be nice. And then I can merge it, and then we can continue on our merry way, which is pretty cool. All right, so, but in the meantime, let's dig into here. So if you're all like, oh, this sounds really cool, but like, how do I know what the predicates are or any of that config stuff? So there is this, which is Kubernetes scheduler extender, which is not that, this, which is awful. It's a design doc. It's basically the best documentation there is. And it shows you sort of how to do some of this stuff here, and extenders and priorities and blah, blah, blah. But the best part of what you want to do, so if you're here, if you want to run a particular scheduler, I would suggest looking at the specific branch of which one you want to use. So like lowest common denominator, say like 1.10, something like that. And then within here, we have scheduler, so Kubernetes package scheduler, algorithm, and here we have predicates and priorities. So we can actually go in and have a look. So if we want to look at predicates, for example, let's have a look at our predicates. We can start to see all the different types of predicates that we have, and usually they're pretty understandable. Check node memory pressure, like check node disk pressure. You could also just leave these the defaults, right? You don't have to mess with them too much. I actually think that's kind of nice. Like pod fits resources, right? Does everything fit here? And we can actually, I love this about source graph. We can have a look and see where that gets used. So here we go, predicates. This looks like, I'm willing to bet that's defaults. Here we go, I'm willing to bet that's defaults there. Ordering predicates, you drill a new predicate. Okay, sweet. Let's see if somebody uses that. I'm actually just kind of digging through here. Like source graph is amazing. If you like, seriously, you have to use source graph. Like just do it. Just install it. It's free. It's open source. Just do it. It makes hunting through code bases like this on GitHub so much easier. All right. While that's happening in the background, oh, here we go. Ordering, set predicate ordering. It's kind of boring. I was looking for whatchamacallit? Yeah, all right, that's fine. But actually, let's see if we can work out exactly which one is which. I'm not too fine on time. I'm not too bad on time, but come on, I need a review. All right. If we're looking at like, where's the one I like the most? The one I like, pod fit resources. Here we go. Cool. All right, sweet. So we can actually go down and have a look for pod fit resources, see what it is, and then we actually get a pretty good description here of what it is that it does. So it's actually pretty neat. We can actually go in and actually have a look and see what's actually happening. Actually be like, oh, is this predicate good for us? Is that the thing that we needed to do? I've always been kind of curious as well. There was one I was looking at before, like GCE, DP, like this thing. What does this do? Where are we? Here we go. Interesting. So look, sweet. It's compatibility tests. Oh, there's defaults. Nice. Doesn't really say. Don't know. I don't know what that does. Now I'm actually just kind of curious. Maybe if we go a little less, drop down a little bit. Yeah, okay. So we don't necessarily always get all the things we want, but what I did want to look at is defaults. See if we can get so we can actually see what the defaults are, just out of curiosity. Okay, it does a bunch of stuff. Okay, I'm actually not sure how to do that. Anyway, like I said, it's not very well documented, but it's not terrible. Well, it is terrible, but it's fine. Where were we? So if we go back into algorithm, and we can also have a look inside priorities. Priorities is a little easier to deal with. So like the one that I may end up playing with, which is this one here, which is most requested. Like most requested is a priority function that favors nodes with the most requested resources. So basically, I feel like it's going to put as much together as possible. So we have no, but the thing we're actually playing with right now is node affinity, right? Which is there, right? So each time, and this is what makes me think that it's going to end up sticking together. This is what I think. Each time a node matches prefers a scheduled term, I get an add of the weight. The more satisfies the weight, the higher score the node gets, right? So if I make it weight of 100, right? Like I really punch it up. It should be most important, as far as I'm concerned. Then, and also, here we go. For a scheduling term, match expressions. Let's have a look here. So where does it does affinity? Oh, interesting. And then it actually has some. What is that? That looks like a fun function. What does it do? What does it do? What does it do? Why would you underscore those? That's actually really strange. But anyway. Oh, it's doing like a something? Oh, it returns a function. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Priority reducing normalized results. That's neat. So it's actually writing a reduce, which is kind of neat. Returns a function that takes a function? Don't know. Anyway. No, I don't want node affinity. I was actually looking at the wrong one. What I want is actually pod affinity. No, I prefer... That's node affinity. Inner pod affinity. That's the one I was looking at. I knew I was looking at the wrong one. Okay. Here we go. Exactly, right? So exactly, but the same thing here, right? Like, sum the chorus is satisfied for the node. The node's the highest sum of preferred. So in theory, it looks like if you actually, where are we? Where's the weighting? So we, oh, excuse me. When we process the pods, right? Like we get the node info, we spit that through. And they're not around. All right, I might need to bug some other people. And then we process the node, and like we have the affinity constraints, which we would have. Oh my god, so much stuff. And final priority score, and then like we spit out all the data, and like it should be that the more stuff we have in that node, then the higher priority we should have. In theory, this is my thinking, and we'll see whether or not it actually happens. But if it doesn't, then we can actually also still provide either an extender to like a Kubernetes function or tweak some of the prioritization, which I think we can do, which I think would be really sweet, and work from there. I wonder if I can convince someone while we're here to. It says all checks have passed. Really? No. Oh, these checks have passed, but I haven't got a review yet. Okay, I just need a review. I need a review. Someone needs to give me a review. Which is a shame. Okay. Where are we? What time are we? 9:51. All right, cool. Yeah, this is unfortunately part of the release process, is waiting for someone to come along and say, yes, this is fine. If we could automate this much more, it'd be great. But I might start bugging people at some point. If I get off here, I might start bugging some other people and saying, hey, do you want to come Do you want to come review this for me? That would be great. Thank you very much. It's pretty straightforward. There's not a lot in here that I think anyone's going to complain about. I just need someone to actually hit the button because we have processes and processes are important. Cool. Yeah, that's about the scheduler. I think I have some code right now so that we have two scheduling strategies, packed and distributed. Packed is going to put everything together. Distributed is going to split everything up. And hopefully we'll see if this works. The way I'm currently doing it is, we should actually even have a look. Docs, here we go. Scheduling and auto scaling, here we go. Let's just actually view. It's an interesting question. If I just say view file, what does that show me? That doesn't look too bad. That's not really what I wanted though. Oh, can't I just? What? That's really interesting. Now source graph is taking that. Oh, I'm silly. I'm like, why can't I view this file when it's literally I'm just looking at it? Anyway, it's clearly I'm having a day. So we adding to the fleet, and actually this will get thrown all the way through from fleet down to game server. The option to set up this scheduling option, and you'll have that, and that determines whether it's big or small. Packed will be the default anyway, so most of the time you probably won't even care. So we'll be doing this kind of stuff. Auto scaling concepts, yeah, allocation scheduling, that kind of stuff. All right. I think unless in the next 2 seconds I get a oh, I got a message. What's up? What did they tell me? And he's like, I can do it in 20 minutes. I'm like, was trying to get it done on stream. No dramas. Cool. In which case, cool. I will wrap things up there. So you saw some of the bits of a release. I might actually try and do another stream this afternoon. We'll see how that goes. And oh, no, maybe we won't finish. Whoa, can you do it now? Will it happen? We could just do it all on stream. Let's see what happens. Let's see if he will do it. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Nope, approved because. Oh, why is there no? I usually get a thing. Beautiful. He approved the changes. All right, well, you know what? Let's just keep running with this. All right, so we have the changes. Awesome. I can rebase and merge. Thank you very much. Cyril, you the best. All right, we'll delete the branch because I like to clean things up. Let's make sure my friend knows that he's the best. I think that's what's important. Tell Cyril that he's the best. You actually do it this way. Haha. You are the best. No, that's actually a really good way of doing that. All right, cool. All right, that's done. All right, beautiful. All right, so that's there now. So let's go here. Let's grab the latest. Sweet. We can see that's the change for the 0.50 release. Well, let's just roll on through and get this thing done. I'm excited. All right. All right, so create PRV changes and remove the approval. Done that. Check that out. Git checkout master and git reset upstream master. Beautiful. I'll also git remote update -p. Awesome. This should actually be everything anyway, which it is. Change for 0.50 release. Beautiful. All right. So now we have an automated script that does a lot of the release processes. Sometimes it fails. Hopefully it won't. It should actually be pretty good. Just want to double check. This is usually the thing that messes me up sometimes, but I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be fine anyway, actually. I don't think it actually matters. Basically because we push up images to GCR, so to Google Cloud Storage. All right, so make it to release. So it's going to run a whole bunch of tests. So first what it's doing is it automates a lot of stuff. There is some stuff we don't automate probably as well as we probably should or could. But let's get this. Yeah, we do have some steps to help this out. So what it's doing right now is actually running a linter. This is going CI's linter, which is really good and really fast. And like you can see, it just went through our code really quickly. There's a Go Meta linter, which I wish was better. It does a really good job, but it takes up a lot of memory and CPU. The Golang CI-lint is real, like does just a much better job. It's kind of ridiculous. Cool. Looks like our tests are running through. That's looking like it's a good, promising thing. So assuming tests go through, which they should, we haven't really made any changes. If it does fail, that would be upsetting. So we have a pretty wide suite of unit tests. So having that all run through is a good thing. Let's see what's going on here. Come on, blah, blah, blah. Oh, while that's going on, I will show you Golang CI. Yeah, CI lint. Pop this up because it is really good. Apparently has nice colored output. Oh, I need to work out how to turn on colored output in Docker files. But it is drastically faster. I also found that, ooh, it failed. That's just a really flaky test. Really? All right, I'm gonna check that out. Test queue health check. I need to work out why sometimes that fails. All right, let's run it again. Whoop. Yep, you know what? Sometimes we still have flaky tests. I'm usually pretty picky about flaky tests. I'll tell you what, while that's going on, let's actually have a look and see if we can see why that is a flaky test. So apparently, actually, let's have a quick scroll up. Where are we? Worker queue test 158. While that's running in the background, worker queue test 158. WQ healthy, which it shouldn't be. All right, so did anything else fail before 158? That's strange. So we close it. Run count should be 0. Let's have a look at what's going on here. Since we're in here, Healthy reports whether all the worker Go routines are running. Right. What happens if we stop? Right. That's weird. So run count returns the number of running. Wonder why that fails. This should... So here's the interesting thing. the gate failed, but the HTTP request works just fine. All right, so the test passed this time. That's good. Flaky test. So if you're at all interested, there we go. So like the test ran. Cool. We actually have a test here as well to test that the generated code out of the YAML file also gets checked. So that's fine. So that all worked. And now we are building everything. So I'm going to let that run in the background. We're building all the Docker images and the binaries and all that sort of fun stuff. I'm actually really quite intrigued by why this failed. If want does not equal got, but they should not equal each other. So why did you not get? That's a weird one. That is a weird one because we wait to see what the run count is, and if the run count is 0, then we should just keep going. Like that's reasonable. Unless it timed out, but still this should be no. It was 158. If 155 should have failed. But only failed at 158. That is weird. That actually doesn't make sense to me. I don't know if anyone else can see anything that's wrong with that. Because this passes. That's my function that tests the HTTP server. We just do a poll until we get the thing that we expect that we should get for like 5 seconds. That's really weird. I'm actually quite intrigued about why that failed. It's not one I've seen fail very often. Yep, nope. Very confused. It locks squant got workers. Actually, I'm not sure why we assign that to different variables, but that's a whole other thing. That's strange. Where do those values get set? New worker queue. I assume when we call run, we tell it how many workers we want, set worker count, right? Cool, yep. We are workers, yep. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I got no idea. I don't know why that failed. That's very strange. Don't know. Do not know. Okay, what's it doing now? Okay, so it compiled a bunch of stuff. Okay, wait, sweet. Oh, what are we doing? So, this is all compiling the Linux SDKs, and pushing all that together, which we could actually kind of get rid of now. I was actually thinking about that. That's a whole other thing. Eventually, I think those Linux tarballs and stuff. But we're bundling up Helm, creating a chart. We did that. Okay, so the new chart is now up there, which is nice. And now we are pushing up the images. So that's preparing the images, pushing those up. So doing all the work for us, which is pretty sweet. All right, so those are all going up. And as you can see, they're not big images, which is also nice too. They're Alpine based. There's really just two of them. There's the controller and the sidecar for the SDK server that runs alongside the game server image. And cool, it'll push up the release branch. And I think that's it. Beautiful. Now go make the release. Awesome. So make the release worked. Okay, sweet. Oh, that's not what I wanted anyway. All right, run, make the release. All right, so let's actually have a look and see whether we have that. Let's come over here. What's my kubectl config current context? Okay, I'm on my server. That's fine. So I'm going to Helm delete. I'm going to get rid of the old one. Agones. Purge it. Just going to clear that out. I don't need to add this table. We already have that there. just double check that's all good. Yep. Helm repo update. Got an update. Beautiful. All right, so now Helm search Agones, and we can see that we're now at 0.5.0. Sweet, that's pretty dope. All right, cool. So that's done that. Do a Helm install and smoke test to make sure this confirms is working. This actually, we did a really bad job of this last time. I'd actually like to automate this a bit better. But let's do a Helm install, name equals Agones. Namespace equals Agones system. Oops. Now I want to see what the default version that gets installed. This is the thing I'm actually quite curious about. Helm OS. Sweet, I get version 0.5.0. Dope. Awesome. Fantastic. That makes me very happy. All right, cool. All right, so that looks like that deployed. Let's get pods. I just want to see whether this is all working. Namespace equals Agones system. There we go. It's running. Let's look at the logs. Namespace Agones system. Let's look at the controller. All right, that all looks pretty awesome. The thing I can actually do, which I quite like now for my smoke test, is we have end-to-end tests. I'm not going to run the full suite because we run it all the time. But I do just run like a particular one. I just do this. Now we should probably automate this and have it run the full suite and make sure everything is fine, because that would be the right thing to do. But I'll just do a quick smoke test to make sure everything is fine. That looks beautiful. That's lovely. We can see it's did some work. Awesome. Awesome, 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 awesome. Fantastic. All right, so we're getting there. I think I need a break, maybe a drink. All right, we are almost there, which is really nice. All right, so we have a look here. We can see we now have a release 0.5.0. Sweet. And we can, where are we? Create a release with the release template. So we have a template for this as well. We template kind of as much as possible, because, well, that makes life easy. Release template. Here's my release template. Pop over to raw. I think actually with a lot of this, we can probably steal from the previous release, to be honest. So why don't we do that? Let's go releases 0.5 RC. I'm just going to edit it and steal this. Because a lot of the details are already here. Go back. Draft new release. I'll splat that in there. 0.50 release of Agones. Because we still just want the features of what's new. What we can do, actually, let's do this. Cheat a little. Everywhere it says 0.5.0 RC. Let's make that into 0.5.0 and just replace all of it. Beautiful. Cool. Version 0.5.0. Beautiful. Tag version 0.5.0. Release title version 0.5.0, which is part of the template too, so that's all fine. Yeah, version. All right, beautiful. I'm gonna have a quick look at the changelog. Make sure there's nothing. Well, actually, the changelog's fine. Boom. That I need to add to that, because we usually just put new features. Just from memory, actually. Real quick. When I do full releases, I do copy across the features from previously. Yeah, I do. I thought so. I combine RC and whatnot, so that's all fine. So yeah, perfect. Nothing else has actually changed. Cool. All right, so that's there. We've drafted that. Make sure there's a tag with release version. Attach all the assets in the release folder. Oh, I have not done that. we have a release folder. It has a bunch of goodies in it. So let's show in files. Grab that, drop it in here. So that creates a bunch of stuff. We have an Agones install. That's the YAML files. These are both C++ compilations, which I think we'll end up getting rid of. The Agones SDK is the source code for the C++ stuff. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we don't want to do that. Maybe we want to zip up. We might come back to this, actually. Maybe the SDK should just be a zip of all the different languages. And it keeps them all there. Don't know. It's a thought. Server is all the binaries that you can run alongside it. So basically, if you're doing local development, you can run these in local mode. These are actually the real server that you would otherwise run inside Agones. And they have a local mode, which makes life easy. Sweet, that's uploading all the releases. Okay, so that's uploading. We're doing that. This is all post stuff, which is fine. I'll do that after the fact. Once this is done, pushing up, and it's all kind of going slowly, because one of these is really big. It's like that one, I think. Yeah, it's that one. It's like 300 meg. Once this is done, then that'll actually we'll make the release, and then I'll write the email, which basically if you're part of the mailing list, I'm not even sure what's in here actually. I'll have to look at my groups. Here we go. My groups. Agones discuss. Here we go. So usually do a release version. This. Here we go. I'll do like a full version. So it'll be good. So we'll get that done as well. But I'll do that. I'll do that once I get off the message, off the stuff with you. I want to push this live. I want to see it go live, and then we'll be like, yes, we're done. I think that'll do the job, which will be quite nice. But not a bad task for what, an hour and a quarter. That's a good morning spent, which I think is good. Come on, upload. I wish it gave you like a. How long is this going to take? The rest of them aren't very large. Okay, it's these two. Yeah, I think I need to rethink how we bundle up the SDKs. I starting to think we just bundle the SDK folder. It's actually an interesting question. While that's uploading, if we did that, what would that look like? That would potentially be fine, except for Go. It's the only thing. Because it imports that. But we could vendor that. We could chuck it in a vendor folder inside here. We could make it work. I could actually make it work. I kind of like this idea actually. Yeah, let's actually bear with me while that's going on. I keep yeah, that's what I want. Keep a to-do list. Which is on release zip up SDK folder, and release that instead for the Go version, vendor the Agones dependency, because there's only a one dependency and I think it should be fine. As a next step. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I like that. Cool. Cool. Awesome. All right, how are we doing over here? Not that one, not that one. This one. Here we go. Almost there. Almost there. Actually, make sure let's make sure the links work. Yep, you look great. Changelog. Perfect. Sure, really? Actually, yeah. In previous versions, I updated the whatchamacallit. My brain fell over. I updated the changelog generator to be the one that's stored in the Git repository because they don't do releases for whatever reason. And I'm actually really happy with it. It came out really well. Come on, almost done. I'm hoping this isn't just the 200 megabyte one because that would be really sad and annoying. I just wanted to get it done while I'm on stream. Ugh, it was the really big one. The other one's not too bad. This should be actually pretty quick. Anything else? That we need to check. I don't think so. Everything here looks pretty good. There we go. Oh my god, almost there. Almost there. You can do it. I believe in you. There we go. All right. Quick once over. So it looks pretty good. Nice. I don't have any features here. Look at this. All contributed from other people, which is cool. It's actually really good. Means we have a vibrant community. That makes me happy. All right. Publishing release. 0.5.0. Awesome. That makes me really happy too. There we go. Awesome. Well, thank you. I'm gonna send out the email and do all those sort of catch up stuff next, but I'll do it offline. You don't need to watch me do that. But thanks for hanging out with me today while I did the release. It was super nice to have people hanging out with me while I did this. Maybe we can turn this into a bit of a party somehow. I'm trying to think of a way we can do this every 6 weeks and we get together and I don't know, hang out and stuff. All right, cool. I think I'm going to experiment a bit with how I stream. Usually I'm 9 a.m. Tuesdays. I might try later this afternoon and see what sort of people we get as well. Maybe I'll think about pushing this to the afternoon. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'll make sure if there's a calendar below. I'll keep that updated too. And yeah, follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Twitch. Cynthiel, thank you for watching. I'm glad you found it interesting. I hope that's really cool. If you see room for improvement on how we can do our releases better, that'd be great. But it was great to thank you for hanging out. I really appreciate it. It was fun. All right, cool. Have a good rest of your day or evening or afternoon or whatever it is that you happen to be doing, wherever it is you happen to be doing it. And I'll catch you all later. Thank you so much.